fans are really invested in your friendship with Keke Palmer.
Some of y'all know him as the hot wing expert. Others know him as one of the fiercest interviewers in the game. And me, I might know him as a potential future suitor.
We're kind of like throwbacks of like another time. Welcome back to the studio, the delightful Keke Palmer.
We're back together again.
I can't quit you. At all times, it has like kind of like a throwback, like 90s late night show kind of vibe to it, but it's, you know, brought to this like new time in a way that like young people seem to understand and really enjoy.
Shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Evans. Your parents.
Oh, I thought you were talking about us.
I do think there was a time when, you know, landing major movie stars on a YouTube show felt like a novelty. And now Hot Ones is kind of like a routine stop on like the same promotional circuit as late night television and daytime television. So was there like a specific moment for you that you realized that relationship between Hollywood and like creator-led programming had like fundamentally changed?
As far as like one kind of paradigm shifting moment, I look back at like different tentpole episodes of the show is particularly important. Like our first big episode was with Key and Peele, but I think all of these, it is like the timing of it. You know, like you have consumer behaviors changing at about the time that we start the show. We see this eyeball migration from TV to the internet. And then of course, like the celebrities with projects to promote follow because that's where the audience is. So, you know, like Kevin Hart to me was like a big moment because that was like a capital A-lister in his moment relatively early in the evolution of the show. But then it's like once we booked him, that shakes him a couple other apples from the tree that you didn't think were obtainable. Or like the Charlize Theron episode I think of is really important because that was like an A-list actress who was like down to eat the wings of death. And then that opens up a whole new category of potential guests. So along the way, we've hit these different tentpole moments that have kind of like reshaped or redefined the trajectory of the show. But overall, it's just been kind of a snowball rolling down the hill getting bigger, or like a wave getting bigger. And I'm just grabbing my surfboard and trying to hold on. I just live a lifestyle where I grab a carry-on bag and I go to the airport and I check into the hotel and I go to the shoot and then I'm back at the airport and I'm in a new city and I'm checking into the hotel and I'm doing a shoot. And there's a lot of times where it's like we have like a season worked out and like, oh, this guest has to cancel on Thursday. We need to find like another booking in the next 36 hours. Otherwise, we're not going to have an episode on Thursday. So like, there's always like a lot of chaos that you have to deal with when you're doing a show like this. Sometimes like, I literally like earlier this year, like flew to Italy to shoot with someone, find out when I get there that they have to cancel, like fly back. Now we don't have that episode. Now we got to scramble to do another one. I've just flown to Italy for no reason. Like there's a lot of chaos in just making sure that every Thursday at 11 a.m. an episode goes up. And the point is that the audience shouldn't feel that kind of anxiety. Like we want to make escapism television where you can enjoy just like a stress-free 24 minutes or so. And but to get to those 24, there's a lot of stress that goes into getting that stress-free 24 minutes for the audience.
Yeah. Did you get to at least enjoy some of your time in Italy?
I mean, I had like a good pasta dinner. I'm like, I'm at least going to do that while I'm here. But like, no, otherwise it was just, it was a sad, sad trip. But such is the plight of a chicken wing talk show host.
What is maybe like the most unconventional place you've ever turned into a Hot One set?
I mean, there's been a bunch over the years. Like a memory that does stand out to me was, when we shot the Charlize Theron episode, she was doing I think it was at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and she was doing a junket on the first floor. And in order to shoot the episode, like our workaround was we rented a suite, we took the bed out, and then we just hung those black curtains from like the ceiling of the hotel room. But I just remember like walking in there and it's like this hotel room in disarray and like sandbags and lights on the floor and like sheets hanging from the ceiling. And like, if you just walked onto set, like it just looked like, I don't know, like a second grader's project or something. Like it just looked crazy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're like shooting with like a capital A-list actress, an Oscar award winner in here. But like, that's the Hot Ones experience. Like you pop the thing up, you put the wings out, you do the best that you can with the time that you have, you handle the chaos, and then you pack it all up and go do it again. So it really is just kind of like a circus road show that we're on, and sometimes it really is a circus.
Do you have like favorite like moments that stand out as like your personal favorites? Maybe not necessarily like the biggest or the most viral, but the ones that mean the most to you.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like I love the show and it's like my little baby and I've been obsessed with it. You know, like I think you have to be if you're gonna eat these wings time after time. So like I could probably make a list of like hundreds, like 150 episodes that to me are like, well, this one's a classic. No, this one's a classic. And like, you know, they've all been like these like singular experiences and like, you know, it's so hard to puncture the artifice of it all because it's kind of like a performative version of a conversation. And then, you know, you're doing it on camera and this is a person that I'm meeting for the first time, but we have to create this energy, this rhythm, this sense of rapport, this trust. And like, that should fail like 90% of the time when you really break down how crazy it is. But it's always with Hot Ones, like such a positive shoot experience. And I've made friends, we've trauma bonded over the wings. There's like episodes that mean different things to me. But like overall, I think that if you're new to Hot Ones or if you've never watched an episode, I would always like recommend like the Conan O'Brien episode, Gordon Ramsay episode. The Paul Rudd episode is like an exalted place in the lore of Hot Ones fans. I really love like the Viola Davis episode. I love the Trick Daddy episode. I think like the Charlize Theron episode was like really important in our evolution. Like there's so many over the years that I'm like, you know, if you're not sure if you want to watch the show, like just try watching this one. If you dig it, you'll probably like the show and want to watch more. If you don't, stop now. Like
Yeah.
cash in your chips. Like we have nothing for you. And then like, you know, this year I think for the category we submitted the Kate McKinnon episode. That one means a lot to me. But there's like hundreds and hundreds that I could just like talk about endlessly.
Could I ask about the BTS episode? Because I am a
Yeah,
big
sure.
BTS fan, and I know that they rolled deep with a lot of people in their entourage. So what did it take kind of behind the scenes to pull that off, and like how maybe different was the production process compared to a typical episode?
Well, I always know when we're like shooting with a big guest when there's kind of like a security sweep like before. You know what I mean? That's always like the hallmark of like, oh, we're like this will be a big one. I had because we'd never done an episode that big before, you know, like where we have all of these wings on the table and all of these guests and it actually went like so smoothly and to the added degree of difficulty where only one of them is speaking English, you know, like there was like all of this stuff to deal with and that went like so remarkably smooth considering everything that we were up against. I remember I went to go say hi to them in the green room and they were like super warm and like excited to see me, which was cool. Like they had like just amazing vibes going in. And then even if there is a language barrier, there is the common understanding when you're eating scorching hot wings together, you know, and you have like Jimin being like, let's come on wing, like let's go wing, you know, and then like I start doing it along with them and it's like we're just like connected on that. Like there's just the universal experience of eating hot wings where like yeah, even if you don't speak the same language, you just become like bros through it all. So that like we had like going into it, like thought about every single complication along the way, but I think we like just psyched ourselves up into a world that like we didn't even need to be in because it was like absolute like so seamless and smooth and like opposite of what I expected it to be honest.
Yeah, it was amazing. Fans loved it.
And they're great fans, by the way. Like, that's another rewarding thing about doing something like that, or like capturing this group in this moment where they're like re-emerging and coming back out. And, you know, they didn't do a ton of press. So that I'm also very grateful, for, you know, for them and the team thinking that, you know, Hot Ones would be something that would make some waves and that the fans would love. And that's also, I'm very appreciative for that.
I'm sure you guys went through a lot of milk cartons, but it was really good.
Lots of ice cream.